You're looking at a sold-out Three Rivers Stadium. And usually that means the Steelers are getting ready for some football. Over the years, Pittsburgh's biggest rival, their neighbors a couple of hours west, the Cleveland Browns. The Browns run around right now, but it's safe to say there's still no love lost between Pittsburgh and Cleveland. Today, ESPN brings you the baseball equivalent of Browns Steelers as the Tribe meets the Bucks for the first time ever in the Burgh. 40,000 plus have gathered to see two teams fighting for the playoffs. That's where the similarity ends. The Pirates, a payroll of little more than $9 million, in search of a new stadium, rumored to be moving. They're just 2.5 back in Houston. And the Indians, a shell of a dominant club that went to the '95 series. Big salaries, a sold-out stadium. The expectations very high. It's Cleveland and Pittsburgh, a Major League special on ESPN next.
ESPN's Major League Baseball is brought to you by Michelin X1, because so much is riding on your tires. And by Milwaukee's Best. When you're looking for a different breed of beer, unleash the beast. Milwaukee's Best.
Even the Roberto Clemente statue might be smiling today. A full house at Three Rivers on Labor Day as the Indians come over from Ohio here to Western Pennsylvania. Happy Labor Day to you. Bob Carpenter with Hall of Famer Joe Morgan. And a great matchup for interleague play. A lot of folks in the National League talking about Gene Lamont as manager of the year. Pete Vukovich, a great job with the pitching staff. But, Joe, the essence of this ball club, they're young players.
Well, and that's the point. When you have young players, you need some leadership. They can't lead themselves, and they're getting that leadership from Gene Lamont and Pete Vukovich.
Guys like Tony Womack speeding around the bases and Jose Guillen at single A ball a year ago. Now, the Indians, we know all about them offensively. Dave Justice, third in the American League right now. But, Joe, until Matt Williams embarked on that 17-game hit streak, they really were not a complete offensive team.
Well, you're right, because their power was from the left side. Jim Thome and Dave Justice, they need Matt Williams' bat from the right side to make this a complete ball club. And what he has done is he has spread his stance out a little bit more, and he's using a big part of the ballpark. And that's why he's embarked on this 17-game hitting streak.
Pirates have a left-hander on the mound today, and Jim Thome is not in the starting lineup. The GMC truck starting lineup for the Cleveland Indians. They are hitting .285. It's Vizquel, Seitzer, and Ramirez. Matt Williams, Dave Justice, and Sandy Alomar. Tony Fernandez, Marquise Grissom, who has been struggling. And, of course, over here, it's the pitcher. First pitch of the game, a fastball in there from the 27-year-old left-hander.
Well, Steve Cooke has a fastball, a changeup, and a sinker, a good sinker, and a curveball. But lately, he's had a lot of problems in the first inning. When he's been able to get out of the first inning, he's pitched very well. But he has struggled in the first inning, and I talked to him before the game about those problems, and he said basically he's all hyped up, he's a little nervous, and he just wants to do too much. But he's going to try to relax, he says, today and just throw strikes.
He got ahead 0-2 very quickly, and then Omar Vizquel fouls another one off to the right side. Switch hitter, 252 from the right side, 280 overall. His on-base average to go along with the slugging percentage is .343. Outstanding with the glove. He takes the fastball up high. Well, if there's ever a day for Steve Cooke to be nervous, this could be the day. It's a playoff-type atmosphere here in Pittsburgh. That's the fastball that moves him back off the plate. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Kevin Seitzer next. Then Manny Ramirez for this Indians batting order. Cleveland hit .297 during the month of August, tying a club record with 50 home runs. 2-2 pitch. And a grounder to third. The backhand, Joe Randa. High throw. And no, they didn't get him. Eddie Williams making the tag. Wally Bell might be ruling the runner was on the base by the time the tag was made.
Well, that's exactly what he's saying. He's saying that by the time he was hit by Williams, his foot had hit the bag.
It'll be an error on the high throw by Joe Randa. Well,
let's take a look here and see. Well, he definitely tagged him. And he definitely tagged him with his foot in the air.
Wally Bell, the umpire over there. Tom Hallion works behind the plate today. Mark Barron's out at second. The crew chief, Ed Montague, at third. And the number 2 man for the Indians, a good guy to have in that number 2 hole, Kevin Seitzer. Many years in the American League with Kansas City and Milwaukee. He's been a guy who can move the ball around and hit line drives. He's a patient hitter who can take a pitch or two, and now he goes to 2-0.
Seitzer's kind of your perfect number 2 hitter because he hits the ball behind the runner, gets to the right side a lot, and you can hit and run with him. He makes contact.
Cooke tailing the fastball to the outside corner. So far, the Indians 7-5 interleague. Pirates are 6-6. Cleveland's actually played better on the road in interleague play than they have at home. Line drive, fair ball, left field corner. Vizquel heading for third. Seitzer into second. Indians have a rally going on. Let's get a quick update. Here's Reese Davis.
All right, Bob, we're going to be here all afternoon to keep you up to date on all of the Major League action going on this Labor Day afternoon, 10 games in all. But we've got an NFL note to pass along. It appears that Jerry Rice could be out for the rest of the season. Steve Mariucci told KGO Radio the team doctors believe that Rice has a torn ACL and MCL. Surgery could happen as early today. We'll keep you up to date.
All right, Reese, and now the Indians trying to break out on top right out of the gate here in Pittsburgh. Manny Ramirez, 72 RBIs. The infield is back. That one stays outside. Catches the corner, according to Tom Hallion. A 76-mile-an-hour pitch near the outside corner. Manny Ramirez, a .324 batter. Matt Williams on deck, so this is why the Indians are really tough. Out to short, contact play, runner scores, 1 out. Cleveland takes the lead.
Well, Steve Cooke, of course, is struggling here, but this is not of his making. Should have been an out, and maybe with a runner at second base still with 2 down, but instead they have a run score.
Interesting about the first innings of Steve Cooke, 27 runs in his 12 starts. During that time, he's 1-9, and it really does not help his ball club either. The Pirates are 1-11 in those 12 starts. 1 out. Matt Williams riding that 17-game hitting streak. And Joe, arguably earlier this season, the worst slump that Matt Williams has ever experienced in his major league career. One day in the 9th inning, Mike Hargrove even pinch hit for him against a relief pitcher from the other club.
Well, I think part of the problem early in the year was adjusting to a new league and really just not understanding, just trying to find the patterns that they would use again. The bat right there is kind of the way he was swinging early in the year. That was a pretty big cut there. But what I said earlier is that he has widened his stance, and he's staying back through the middle of the diamond. See this? Watch his head. He pulls his head off, his shoulders comes off. But he hasn't been doing that. He's been keeping everything in and hitting the ball to the bigger part of the ballpark rather than trying to pull it.
No balls, 2 strikes. Williams just got a piece of it. It's out of play over the Pirate dugout. And I guess sluggers around baseball will look at Matt Williams' numbers and say, we should all struggle like he does. It's the 1st of September. He'll have another 100 RBI season. He's at 88 right now. He will go over 30 home runs again. 26 base hits during that 17-game hitting streak, and 3 of them have left the ballpark.
I don't think it's as difficult to get 100 RBIs now as it used to be because there are so many more run scores. And therefore, sometimes, statistics are deceiving. If you ask Matt Williams, has he had a normal Matt Williams type year, he will tell you no, because he has not driven in those 88 runs at the right time, so to speak. But he does have 28 home runs, and he's starting to do the things that Matt Williams is known for, and that's drive-in runs.
Pretty good numbers with runners in scoring position at 291. That was a breaking ball in on his hands. Count stays 1-2. First batter of the ball game, Omar Vizquel hit a rounder down to Joe Randa, who threw high to first. Vizquel has scored now after the sights are doubled, the Ramirez ground ball. The Indians have won 4 out of 6 interleague games away from Jacobs Field. Line drive, a one-hopper to Abraham Nunez. He throws low. Eddie Williams digs it out. And these young Pirates might be a little rattled by the atmosphere here. 2 defensive mistakes. Eddie Williams covers up for that one.
There you see the defense for the Pirates. Jason Kendall behind the plate has made a couple of all-star teams. He's also thrown out 48% of the base stealers, so he's done a good job. He made the all-star team last year. Now 41%.
Kind of young guy you can build a ball club around. He's a good offensive player, hitting .293 and hitting .339. Third best in the American League is Dave Justice. He knows all about this ballpark.
And Justice has been swinging the bat great lately. He's got that beautiful swing back. He had problems with his elbow that kept him out for a while, but he's just got that beautiful flowing swing. Probably has the prettiest swing in all of baseball. He and Will Clark were always tops at that list as far as I was concerned, but Justice's swing is just very smooth and rhythmic, and he doesn't swing too hard.
It's always the left-handers with the best swings, huh?
Yeah, you're right.
John Olerud comes to mind when he was going well with Toronto. 2 balls and a strike. Only Frank Thomas and Reggie Jefferson with a higher batting average than David Justice. His teammate Sandy Alomar right behind him in the lineup as well as in the hitting race. Seitzer still at second base with 2 down. And the right-hander Alomar on deck.
You can see that Cooke is making a conscious effort to try to hit the outside corner by cross-firing to Justice. He's dropping down a little bit lower, trying to hit the outside corner.
3-1 pitch. He got jammed. That fastball ran in on him. And that'll fill the count, 3-2.
From the position he stands on the rubber, which is the extreme third base side, he steps and throws across his body. It's easier to get the ball inside to this left-handed hitter than it is to get it outside. He's missed on all the pitches that he tried away.
Justice 5 homers, 8 RBIs in his last 9 games. Cooke walks in with first base open. Now he deals with a very difficult right-handed batter who's having a big year. Sandy Alomar, who had the great night in Cleveland at the All-Star game with the home run and the MVP. For a while, people were talking about him as a possible catcher/batting champion. Sandy says catchers get too tired. Their bat speed slows down. That'll never happen.
Well, I agree with him that over the course of the season, if you play regularly as a catcher, it's going to take its toll on you. See, from the position he throws on the rubber, he will always find it easier to get the ball to the outside part of the plate against the right-hander and to the inside part of the plate against the left-hander. It's very difficult, I would think, for him to pitch a lot of right-handers inside or left-handers away, for that matter. And the reason you stand to one side or the other is because you think that's your strength. And if that's your strength, running the ball away from right-handed hitters, well, then he's in the perfect location.
1-1 pitch. High fly ball, deep left field, and this one is gone. Cooke's first inning nightmare continues. He's given up 4 here. It's number 17 for Sandy Alomar. His RBI total shoots up to 67.
Well, we can't blame this on Cooke. There was an error because he should be out of the inning. Now watch, he'll try to get inside. Now watch this ball move back out over the plate. That's the problem I'm talking about. He cannot, from that angle, it's very difficult for him to get that ball inside because it will always peel back toward the plate. And you can see he's upset because, you know, he was really concentrating on trying to get out of the first inning today. And, you know, due to the error, he's getting hurt here.
All the runs unearned. Fastball low and inside. Tony Fernandez, the batter. And Jason Kendall now will try to settle down his left-hander, Steve Cooke, who's 9-13. Just given up his 13th homer of the year. And for Cleveland, that's number 185 on the season. Second highest in baseball to Seattle's 216 home runs. Tony Fernandez having a decent year. 277 overall. From the right side, he's been murder at 370. Around the trading deadline, the Indians reportedly were shopping around for second base help. Names like John Valentin, Will Cordero, and Mike Lansing had been mentioned. Mike Hargrove in the American League, Joe, thinks that second base should be a power position. Not all National League managers feel that way. That'll do it. Abraham Nunez throws out all three runners, but a throwing error by Joe Randa opens the door, and the Indians go deep. Alomar, 4-0 Cleveland. They're down by 4 when they come up for the first time. And we'll have a look at the GMC truck starting lineup for Gene Lamont and Pittsburgh. They're batting .260. Tony Womack, a great speed guy. Allensworth can run. And then the veteran Al Martin, Eddie Williams, who they recently picked up to help out at first base. And Joe Randa, Jason Kendall, Jose Guillen, Abraham Nunez, the rookie shortstop, and Steve Cooke. On the mound for the Cleveland Indians, 26-year-old right-hander Chad Ogea. 23 career wins. He's 5-8 this year.
Well, he has been struggling like most of the starters. He's been injured, and therein lies the problem. You see 109 hits in 98 innings. That's a lot. Plus 39 bases on balls. That's a little too many. Obviously, he struggled as well with his control. Well, the Pirates are going to have to bounce back, but with this many people here cheering for him, that gives them a little extra incentive. I think they will be able to keep their intensity level high.
And this is not a day when Chad Ogea will probably pitch real deep into the ballgame, just coming off the DL. Tony Womack having a very fine season. Had 137 days of Major League service last year with the Pirates. He had 30 at-bats in 17 ball games. He wasn't overmatched then, hitting .333, and this year at .278. 2 balls, 1 strike. He's 9th in the league with 153 hits as Womack. He'll work the count here. He's got an on-base average of .320. If you put him on, he's a dangerous stolen base man, though down by 4. That could be shut down at this point of the game. Not what Mike Hargrove wanted to see. After his team has a 4-run lead, he and Mark Wiley, the pitching coach, a little irritated at that leadoff walk.
There's the defense for the Cleveland Indians. There you see the way they stuck up, and Matt Williams has won 3 Gold Gloves at third base. He is the third baseman. Alomar is very good defensively. Grissom as well. And Omar Vizquel wins Gold Gloves also. So they have a pretty strong left side in the middle of the diamond.
Jim Thome, their third baseman last year. He's moved over this year. Not playing today against the left-hander. Blowing outside to Jermaine Allensworth.
Well, if you're Gene Lamont, you look at this ball club, you say, I'm down 4-0. I have a lot of young players. I still want to play the game. So I don't think you should you know, keep Tony Womack from stealing the base, except Ogea is having trouble with his control.
He got a great jump. From his knees, Alomar can't throw him out. And Tony Womack, he might catch Deion Sanders. Deion leads the National League with 56, and he obviously won't be playing every day.
Well, Chad, Ogea has a very slow and deliberate motion, first of all. But secondly, you want to teach your young players to play hard even when you're down 4-0. You have a long way to go, as you see Alomar tries to throw him out from his knees, and he doesn't have a shot anyway. But this keeps your players playing hard. It keeps them thinking about the game. You know, if you just sit over there and try to have a big inning, it doesn't work. Get one run here, one run there. Before you know it, you're back in this ball game.
That's Vizquel in behind the base runner, Tony Womack. Jermaine Allensworth with a count of 1 ball, 1 strike. There's a breaking ball popped out into center. Marquise Grissom, runner tagging. He will stay as Marquise hits the cutoff man. 1 out.
Batting third, left fielder, number 28, Al Martin.
Marquise Grissom, another Gold Glove guy out there defensively. Here's Al Martin. A veteran among young players is Al. Contract extension that could keep him with the Pirates through the year 2002. Slaps it. Fair ball. Right field corner. Pittsburgh is on the board. Al Martin with an RBI double.
And that's the way to play the game. As I say, get one here, one there. And before you know it, you're right back in this ball game. But before Kevin Young was hurt, he and Al Martin were their heart and soul of this ball club. They were the third and fourth place hitters, driving in runs and doing the job. And at the first pitch, fastball, not a lot on it, right about the middle of the plate, belt high, and he rakes it down into the corner. And now they're on the board, 4-1.
Eddie Williams, 3 homers and 7 RBIs for the Pirates since coming over. Pirates got him from the Dodger organization. Kevin Young had his season end with a hand injury. At least they thought it was over. There's still a possibility he could be back. Eddie Williams was hitting .366 at Albuquerque for the Dodgers with 76 RBIs. He's 32 years of age. His 6th major league club. It's his 8th organization. Runners going. Slow breaking ball. Safe at third base.
I like this. That's the way to play the game. Just play hard and keep pressure on the defense. And as I mentioned, Ogea has a slow and deliberate, you know, motion to the plate. Just run him out of the ballpark if you can. Make things happen. See that high leg kick, slow delivery. Martin gets a good jump. Throw is right there, but it's just not in time. And there you see just Martin in there easily.
Matt Williams had to reach back for that ball, or it would have gone into left field. Now a fly ball, and the Cleveland lead is cut in half. That'll even the count. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
The only problem when you're trailing by 4 runs and you steal third base, you had better make it.
2-2 pitch. Ball 3. Joe Randa on deck. And a payoff pitch here. Change up. It was in the dirt. First and third, still only 1 out. Pirates rallying. Let's check in again with Reese Davis.
All right, Bob, in Philadelphia, Hideki Arabu, early trouble. What else is new? Mike Lieberthal smacks one end to left field. Mickey Morandini and Scott Rowland would come in to score. Philadelphia on top of the Yankees, 2-0.
Yankees 6.5 back of Baltimore in the American League East standings. First, there's a wild card race going on over there as well. And the Yankees are 6.5 up on the Angels in that part of the pennant race. Mark Wiley, a conversation with Chad Ogea. He walked the leadoff man after he was presented a 4-run lead. Womack stole second. He got Allensworth on a fly ball. Then he hung one to Al Martin, who doubled. Walked Eddie Williams on a 3-2 pitch. And now Joe Randa, whose error opened up the top of the first for the Indians, could get the Bucks right back in it. That's Steve Cooke, who gave up those 4 unearned runs in the top of the first. Breaking ball, fly ball, center field. Deep enough for the run to score. Eddie Williams going back to first base to tag. He will stay, but it's now a 4-2 game.
And a good job there by Randa. He got the breaking ball, and he almost hit it out, but he got it deep enough to get the run in. That was the most important thing. He could not afford to hit a ground ball and hit a double play. And the Pirates are right back in this ballgame.
Their number 6 man, Jason Kendall, having another fine year. He's about to become a perennial all-star if he keeps this up. It's a fastball in there. Last year when Kendall went to the all-star game, he was the 5th rookie catcher to ever make it. .93 batter. He's also one of those catchers who can run a bit. 13 stolen bases this year. Both of these ball clubs will be doing a little scoreboard watching today. Milwaukee chasing Cleveland at Houston ahead of Pittsburgh. Joel Adamson and Chris Holt throwing in that game later this afternoon. Indians 3.5 up on the Brewers, and the Pirates 2.5 back of Houston. This one out to right field. Andy Ramirez started in, then drifted back and made the play. But the Pirates get half the deficit back on 2 walks, a double, couple of steals, and a sac fly. A wild first inning at Three Rivers, 4-2. First half of our Labor Day doubleheader. 4-2 Indians over the Pirates after 1 inning. We've got a good one for you later. And a good pitching matchup as well. The Baltimore Orioles down at Florida against the Marlins. More on that. Good pitching and some good hitting coming up in that game later. There's Pop Stargell.
Willie Stargell, Hall of Famer, and a guy that grew up in the same area as I did. I followed him to the big leagues. He's from Oakland, California. Kind of an idol of mine. He's the reason I wore number 8. He had number 8, and when I got to the big leagues, I wanted to wear number 8. Well, when I went to Cincinnati, I should say.
What a winner he was. Here's Marquise Grissom. This bat has been better lately. Marquise with an 8-game hitting streak. He had been hitting under 200 since the All-Star break. And opened the American League with the DH, Mike Hargrove, had pretty much decided to bat Grissom 9th the rest of the year. Here in the National League Park in interleague play today, he's ahead of the pitcher. And him reaching on a 2-1 off-speed pitch. Randa charges, bare hand, throws it away. Down to second base goes Marquise Grissom. Base hit and an error. It'll be the second of the day on Joe Randa.
Well, there are times when you just take what happens and not try to force it. You know Marquise Grissom is very fast. All right, you make the play barehanded, but you don't throw it that quickly. You have to take one more step. Make sure you make the play properly. If you get him, fine. If you do not, that's okay. But when you throw it away, now you compound the problem with having him at second base. Now the pitcher can bunt him over to third.
Always interesting to watch American League pitchers bunt. Ogea has done it successfully one time this year. Overall, he's 0 for 1 at the plate.
Well, that's a good attempt there by Cooke to keep the ball up. If someone is bunting, you try to throw the ball up in the strike zone or just a little bit above it, so that if they bunt it, they'll pop the ball up.
Pretty much the same location, up and away this time. And leaving the count 1 ball, 1 strike. Randa charging from third. Eddie Williams coming very close in from first base. He lays it down pretty well. A play at third. Safe at third base. Kendall thought he had a play. And the speed of Marquise Grissom sets up a big inning again for Cleveland.
Well, the one thing you have to remember when they're trying to give you an out, make sure you get one. You do not try to go to third base unless you're 100% sure you can get him. Otherwise, you take the runner at first base. Because, again, you compound the problem by trying to make a great play. And that's one of the things about young players. I mean, when that ball bounces that far out there and it takes you that long to get there, you're not going to be able to get a guy like Marquise Grissom. You got to remember who's running, both on the chopper that Randa threw away and also on the ball that Kendall just threw down.
Here's Vizquel. His ground ball to Joe Randa. Well, he set up a big first inning for Cleveland. So now, on that sacrifice / fielder's choice, the Indians with runners at the corners, nobody out. Up the middle, a chance for 2. The pivot by Womack, and they got them both. Plus the runner stayed at third.
Man, I don't know what's going on there. This bad base running play there by Marquise Grissom. I mean, the Pirates are going to take the double play and give up the run, and Grissom just froze there. I have no idea why. There's no one out, the runner at third, ground ball to the infield, you automatically take off. And you see, they didn't even look at him. They're just happy to get 2 to get out of this jam they're in. And Grissom still standing at third base.
Kevin Seitz to the batter. Well, if anybody should be going on a slow bouncer out to short, you would think it would be Marquise Grissom.
Yes.
The fastest man in their lineup right now.
Well, I mean, it's automatic. You try to stay out of the double play. If they want to take you and you give up the double play, that's fine. But 99% of the time, they're going to take the double play and not come after you. But even if they do, you can get in the rundown, and then you may end up with runners at second and third instead of just third base, as they have now in 2 outs.
Kevin Seitz are a double first time up. Pulled the ball right down the left field line. Cooke with a fastball missing up and away 3-0. If you walk him, you have to deal with the power of Manny Ramirez. He didn't even come close on 3-0. Walk number 2 for Steve Cooke. Each pitcher has walked a couple.
And there goes Pete Vukovich out to the mound. Vuk with his own style of shuffling out to the mound. I can see where he would be a great pitching coach. Vukovich has a great personality, and he knew how to pitch. He always knew how to change speeds. He knew how to get hitters out.
Baltimore and Florida coming up later today. Cal Ripken hitting at .291, 15 home runs. Bobby Bonilla flirting with 300, and he has hit 15. He's a former Oriole. It'll be Scott Erickson, 15-5. Tony Saunders, 3-5 on the mound. Dwayne Stats and Kevin Kennedy later from Pro Players Stadium with our ESPN Labor Day doubleheader Game 2. Meanwhile, back here in Pittsburgh, runners at the corners again. Grissom still at third, and Seitz are at first. Pirates already getting their bullpen busy. Right-hander Jason Johnson warming out there. Manny Ramirez, the batter. Cooke coming in with a backdoor breaking ball. Ramirez with an RBI ground ball out to short first time up.
Well, the one thing you want to do if you're the Pirates is put on a good show for all these people that are here today.
Ramirez offering. It's a strike, says Wally Bell as he went around. Now Cooke could be out of the inning with no runs scored.
Well, take a look at this, and you can see that he did go too far.
0-2 pitch. Got him up and away. So a base running mistake by Marquise Grissom after he had done some great base running. And the Indians failed to score in the top of the second. Well, go Browns, and he crossed that out, and it said Tribe underneath. That gentleman with that sign. The Browns did go, didn't they, to Baltimore?
Yes.
They used to have some great battles in the AFC here at Three Rivers. There we go. Pittsburgh's not real excited about its football team based on what happened here yesterday. It was a shutout by 51 8 years ago, the last time a Cleveland team won in the Berg. Bottom of the second, Jose Guillen leads off for Pittsburgh. Now this young man, a very interesting story, playing at Class A Lynchburg at this time a year ago. So on a pretty good second half surge. High 300 since the All-Star break. Ogea had him reaching for that one. Should be easy for Marquise Grissom. One out, bottom of the second, and here again, Reese Davis.
All right, Bob, in Cincinnati, Pete Rose taking in the game, Royals and the Reds, because that's Pete Rose Jr., his first Major League at bat, and Kevin Napier welcomes him to the show. Pete Jr. strikes out. Big Pete still proud. They're tied at 1.
Well, I'm glad to see that Pete Rose Sr. is there watching Jr. play his first Major League game.
Fastball thrown right by Abraham Nunez. Another one of these young Pirates, Nunez. We start to see now some of the benefits from that deal with Toronto when Orlando Merced, Carlos Garcia, Dan Plesac ended up with the Blue Jays. They love his glove. Will he be able to hit? Time will tell. He's 3 for 11 as a Major League switch hitter. 1 for 7 from the left side.
It's interesting. I want to go back to something you said earlier, and that is that Hargrove seems to think that second base is a power position.
Now, was that before or after he talked to you?
No, I mean, no, I thought you said that. I thought you said that he feels that.
He does consider that.
Yeah, and I have to disagree with that because the middle of the diamond is your defensive portion of the diamond. Your catcher, your shortstop, second base, and center field. That's where your defense is supposed to come in. Your power comes from the corners.
1-2 pitch. Popped him up on a pitch up high over near the dugout. And out of play.
Well, your power comes from your first baseman, your third baseman, your left fielder, and your right fielder. That's the way the game is supposed to be played. When you start changing where you get your offense from is when you get in trouble. Because if you find a second baseman that's usually going to hit a lot of home runs, he's not going to play very good defense long. And defense is very important with your middle infielders.
1 ball, 2 strikes to Nunez. Pitcher on deck, bottom of the second. Backdoor breaking ball. Nunez is gone, and he knew it. And this inning, Chad Ogea comes out throwing strikes. That's his first K of the day.
Well, there's no doubt that he was a little nervous, too, making his first start in quite a while. And here's the curveball. As you can see, it is a beauty. Starts up a little bit, breaks down, and over the outside part of the plate.
Pitcher Steve Cooke is next. Throws left, bats right. 0 for his last 26. 3 for 44 on the year.
Last night, and Garcia Parra exemplifies what I was talking about defense being what your middle infielder is supposed to do. He saved 3 or 4 runs in last night's ball game.
Great fastball to the outside corner. Ogea. He whizzes through the second inning. No problem at all. Now the Indians have big hitters coming up. Matt Williams leads off in the top of the third. Dave Justice to follow. And then the good hitting catcher, Sandy Alomar. Cleveland 4-2 early, and the big guns coming up again. Now the Pirates probably did not want to see these 3 guys for the second time as early as this inning, but it'll happen in the third. Indians had a big first inning with 4 runs, and now here it'll be Williams, Justice, and Alomar. And the way these guys are swinging, maybe the most lethal 4-5-6 combination in baseball right now. Matt hit one out to short first time up. He was retired. Justice walked. Alomar homered. Way inside. 1 ball, 1 strike from Steve Cooke. '27-year-old left-hander, 9-13 on the year. Fastball away, good location. He had Matt Williams reaching. So the 17-game inning streak, if it's to go beyond, we'll have to wait for a while. Big crowd here at Three Rivers Stadium in Pittsburgh. It's a ballpark divided today. Pirates average 20,000 a game at home. But a lot of folks who can't get tickets in Cleveland figured we'll buy them up early. A lot of the tickets for this series were bought up early by people from the state of Ohio. Tribe hats, pirate hats all over the place. Sure, there's a Steeler cap and maybe a Browns cap in the crowd somewhere.
Just don't let them get close to each other.
That's right. Cleveland fans will be barking. Base hit out to right field for Dave Justice. I did hear some of those dog pound barks during batting practice today. Dave Justice having a perfect day with a walk, a run, now a single. Sandy Alomar next.
Take a look at Dave Justice's swing. Watch it. Look at that. Not a lot of effort, just a smooth, look at it, smooth and compact. And he was talking to Willie Stargell and myself before the ball game, and he said, I like to finish high. He said, I didn't do that when I was young, but now I've learned that if you extend yourself through the swing, you get a little more pop.
He had plenty of pop recently, Dave Justice did, Joe, and he had a streak of 8 home runs over a 15-game span. Justice came off of his elbow injury, wearing a brace. Then he went to a lighter bat for a while to take some of the strain off. He's swinging as well as he ever has right now. 1 on, 1 out. Alomar, the 3-run towering homer first time up. He goes high and deep to center field this time, but Jermaine Allenbrook catches it 390 feet from home plate.
Well, that's okay if you're Steve Cooke. Make him hit it to the big part of the ballpark and you don't get hurt. You know, I still find it a little strange that Jim Thome is not playing. I did the game on Wednesday night in Anaheim, and he wasn't playing against a left-hander there either. And he actually leads the team in home runs with 36 and RBIs with 93. And you would think that maybe, you know, this guy could get a pitch and drive it out of the ballpark. But I think Hargrove is thinking now he wants to give Seitzer some at-bats, I guess. But it's hard to understand how you can take the power of Jim Thome out of the lineup.
Not a left-hander that overpowers people.
Right.
Sometimes guys like this, Joe, are easier for left-handers to hit than our right-handers with that change-up away, the fastball away. We saw him get the little comebacker from Matt Williams. Base hit right center for Tony Fernandez. Nice job of going the other way and hitting the ball hard. Stopping at second, Justice. The Indians have had at least 2 base runners in all 3 innings now.
They showed you a picture of Thome there, and he was smiling. I think he's smiling through his pain. He's a little disappointed because he said he woke up in a great mood this morning, too.
I've never seen him unhappy. Yeah. He's a happy guy.
Until he looked at the lineup today, and then he said, well, oh, well.
Anybody wearing either of these 2 uniforms has to want to be in the lineup for this game today.
Yeah, exactly.
Marquise Grissom, a base hit. Down to third base, first time up. Fastball outside. Joe mentioned Jim Thome's power numbers, by the way. Those 36 homers, third in the American League now that McGuire's gone. RBI total of 93 is in the top 10. Marquise keeps it going. He's got a 9-game inning streak now. And add another one into the corner. This will score at least one run. Justice comes home. Fernandez, he's coming home after stopping almost at third. And Cleveland has two more. A little confusion at third base as Fernandez almost stopped, restarted, scored easily. It's a 6-2 ball game.
Well, he was being held up by the third base coach at first. And Marquise Grissom has been swinging that much better lately as well. This pitch is supposed to be down and away, and he does get it that away. And just good hitting there by Marquise Grissom. He slams it in the corner. And there you see Fernandez comes on in to score after he was slowed down. But he was actually initially stopped at third by the third base coach. He had his hands up. And then he changed his mind, and Fernandez was able to score.
6 runs already. 6 base hits. The right-hander, Jason Johnson, continues to work. He's probably thrown an inning or more out in the bullpen already. And with the runner at second base, 2 down, it'll be the pitcher, Chad Ogea. They made an appeal to first base, asking Wally Bell if Marquise Grissom had missed the bag. He said, no, he got it. Ogea can swing away here and maybe add to his lead. Pops it up. Second baseman, Tony Womack. And the Indians do some more damage in the third inning. Dave Justice got it started. Fernandez kept it going. Marquise Grissom, the 2-run double. It's now 6-2 Indians. ESPN Major League Baseball, first of our Labor Day doubleheader. That's Marquise Grissom, who indeed did touch first base on his way to second a few moments ago.
Well, if you're struggling as he has most of the season, you're not going to miss first base. You need all the base hits that you can get. As you see, he stepped on it with his left foot.
Joe, you're absolutely right, because Marquise said after breaking a recent slump, it had been so long since I've been on base, I felt like a rookie out there.
Yeah. Well, he acted like a rookie his last time up when he stayed at third base on the ground ball and didn't score, but he made up for it there, drove in 2 runs for the
Mike Hargrove, lots of speculation about the security of his job when the Indians were losing a lot at home right out of the All-Star break. John Hart said this is his team. He's going to bring it home. Mike Hargrove is the only manager the Indians have had since John Hart took over in September of '91. They saw the bad, the rebuilding, and now the good for that franchise. Tony Womack, the Pirates' leadoff man here in the third. Right center. Well hit. Heading for the gap, and it's caught by Grissom. He just cruised over and made it look relatively easy. That ball was about 370 feet from home plate when Marquise chased it down.
Marquise Grissom, he can cover some ground in the outfield. And as you mentioned, he makes it very routine after he gets there. I mean, he goes a long way for it, but he gets there in plenty of time. And he makes a routine play out of it. And I think that's the interesting part there. He got a good jump on it, which made it easy after he got started.
Chad Ogea starting to settle down here. If you go back to the Joe Randa sacrifice fly, he's now retired 6 consecutive Pittsburgh batters. Allensworth fly to center first time up. We remember Chad Ogea well on ESPN from his days at LSU. Led the Tigers to the national championship in '91, starting the championship game, in fact. He pitched in 3 College World Series for Skip Bertman down there. And, of course, Skip Bertman considered one of the more knowledgeable men in terms of pitching in the college ranks. Ben McDonald out of that program. 2 strikes. Indians have had a crazy year in the pitching department because of all the guys that have been on the disabled list. Jack McDowell, of course, is done for the year. May not return to Cleveland next season. Albie Lopez, Norman, Ogea, a whole host of others have been hurt. Out to center and a base hit for Jermaine Allensworth. Well, it's time for some more football. Get the scoop tonight on all the action in the NFL. NFL Prime Monday on ESPN. Mike Tirico and his crew. All the stories at 7:30 Eastern before Monday Night Football. And then on ABC, how about this one to start you off? The Bears and the Packers. Brett Favre and the rest of the pack trying to repeat as Super Bowl champions. Eric Kramer for the Bears behind center. That's tonight at 9 Eastern on ABC. It's only fitting the Super Bowl champions should have the stage to themselves on the first week of the season.
A lot of people think they're going to have the stage to themselves for the entire season.
Al Martin, RBI double first time up, runner going. A stand-up steal for Jermaine Allensworth. Gene Lamont down 4 again says, boys, we're going to keep on running.
Well, I think they should. I mean, Ogea is not holding them. And, I mean, look at that. I mean, the guy just gets a great jump. Alomar Jr. doesn't even bother to throw this time.
2-0 now to Al Martin. Easy for Seitzer. Over to third with 2 outs. Jermaine Allensworth. It'll be up to Eddie Williams.
First baseman.
I never seen Eddie Williams when he was at San Diego, and I always thought he was a pretty good hitter. He just never had the opportunity to play on a regular basis there, but I really think that, you know, he can swing the bat.
And, of course, he's replacing Kevin Young, who's just having a great year. Young was hitting .315 for the Pirates with 16 homers and 68 RBIs, 11 steals when he was hurt. Meanwhile, out in the bullpen, Jason Johnson in his 3rd or 4th inning of work. And the fact that he's still throwing, Joe, might indicate that Cooke could be done. We'll wait and see. But he has to be warmed up long before what we're seeing him do here. Eddie Williams walked first time up. He got jammed and fouled it off to the right side. 1 ball, 1 strike. Bob Carpenter, Joe Morgan, Three Rivers Stadium, Pittsburgh. First ever visit by the Indians, the opener of a 3-game series. And the changeup down and away, 2-1. Well, Kevin Young was having an outstanding season. Really gave them the cleanup man they were looking for. It's one of the harder things to do when you've got a real young club. Who's going to step forward and drive in key runs?
Well, you know, I talked to him and I said, you know, only way to look on the bright side, and that is you were having a very good year and you got hurt. But what if you were hitting .220 and got hurt? Then someone would say you can't play. At least they know you can play now. You've been able to prove that. So you will have a spot next year. So that's the positive of a negative situation, I guess.
You saw that graphic of the youngest team in baseball, the Pirates. They got some tough decisions to make with the expansion draft coming up. Who to protect? There's a lot of young talent that Tampa Bay and Arizona are going to be looking at that belongs to this Pittsburgh organization. Speaking of the expansion draft and postseason play, Chad Ogea, even though he was not on the active roster when August ended, he would be eligible for postseason, having been on the DL at that time. And with all the pitching problems they've had, they might need every arm they can get. Right now, they're concerned about John Smiling. We're going to go with a 4-man rotation until the 11th of September with Smiley, Oral Hershiser, young Jared Wright, and their veteran Charles Nagy. They've got 4 off days during a 2-week span. and they can get by with 4 starters. But then they've got a lot of doubleheaders piled up after that, the Indians do. Back-to-back day-night doubleheaders with the Orioles. September 15 and 16, then a twinighter against the Royals on the 19th. Well hit left field. Going back, unable to get it justice. Ellensworth scores. A long, high throw back in, holding Williams to a single. But the Pirates are back on the board. It's now a 6-3 game. And if he'd gotten a little elevation on that thing, it would have been out of here. It was certainly hit hard enough.
I think Ogea decided he was going to make sure that he swung the bat. It's a little change-up. And he drills it off the left field wall for a base hit. Justice did not have time to get back there and make the catch.
9 runs, 9 hits in the ballgame between these two teams. Joe Randa drove one in, first time up with a sac fly to center. He's got a little looper to left field for a base hit. So just when Chad Ogea looked like he was starting to cruise into the 3rd inning, retiring the first man, giving him 6 in a row, 3 of the next 4 reach base, and Mark Wiley's going to the mound again.
Well, I think he wants to check with Sandy Alomar Jr. and Ogea about his location. You see, there's not any action. They're satisfied with his stuff, meaning he has a good enough fastball, his movement on it's okay, and he has a breaking ball to go with it. But I think it's more about location. Are you hitting your spots? If you're hitting your spots, they shouldn't be hitting all these line drives. And if you're not hitting your spots, you need to concentrate a little harder and make sure you do. And to make sure when you miss with a pitch, you're not missing to the middle part, towards the middle of the plate. Miss off the plate or off the corners.
We did not expect Chad Ogea to be around in the 7th, 8th, or 9th inning today, simply because he was coming off the DL. Now that, coupled with his pitch count, we may only see him for 5 innings today, if he's lucky enough to hold on to the lead. Jason Kendall is next, represents the tying run. In a pretty good spot there.
Well, I think that's the point. They wanted to concentrate on getting the ball to certain spots rather than just throwing his good stuff over the plate.
Good spot with that one up and away. Manny Ramirez for the final out. Pirates going to run 3 singles and a steal. Eddie Williams delivers the RBI. Steve Cooke is through when the Indians bat in the 4th inning.
Reese Davis with you. Royals and Reds in Cincinnati. Ed Hawkins steps to the plate, drills a 2-run homer. One of the great thrills at a ballpark is trying to catch a souvenir, but that fan slipped over the railing. A dangerous situation there. They are attending to him behind the right field wall. No word on his condition. We'll get you information as it comes available to us.
That's an 8-foot wall in Cincinnati to the yellow line, then about another 5 or 6 feet. So it's probably about a 15-foot fall for that fan. Our best to him. We'll keep you posted. Here in Pittsburgh, we go to the top of the 4th inning. New pitcher for the Pirates, it'll be right-hander Jason Johnson. He won't be 24 years of age until the end of October. And he's only pitched 1 inning so far. One of the young players that the Pirates are taking a look at here late in the season. Always interesting for a ball club involved in the pennant race that some of the youngsters you call up on the 1st of September can have an effect on whether or not you're playing in October.
Well, this guy's big, and he looks like he's got a good live fastball. I was down on the field, and he is huge. And he throws it pretty hard, too.
6'6", 216 out of Burlington, Kentucky. Pirates got him. Signed him as a free agent back in July of '92. Hit left field. Omar Vizquel on base for the 2nd time today. Well, the Indians, Joe, must think it's still August when they hit 297 as a club. They are really hacking today.
And the batter is first baseman Kevin Seitzer.
came into this day third in the American League at 285. Red Sox hitting a robust 297. The Yankees at 287. As mentioned, second in home runs to Seattle. Evan Seitzer, a walk, a run, and a double today. And again today, some interesting interleague matchups with the Royals at Cincinnati, Yankees at Philly, Blue Jays at Shea, Red Sox at Montreal, White Sox in St. Louis, Twins at Wrigley. Ball game, as mentioned, these two teams will be watching. Milwaukee at Houston. Baltimore, Florida later on ESPN. Padres are at Seattle. Tigers at Atlanta. Giants at Oakland. That ought to be fun out in your old neighborhood, Joe. And the Rockies in Anaheim. Giants A's at the Coliseum today. On the corner. 1-1 strike.
Interesting that the Los Angeles Dodgers are not scheduled to play today.
Yeah, notice that. The only divisional leader not playing on Labor Day. Giants need to keep playing well. Dodgers threatening to open up some space in that NL West. Omar Vizquel at first base. Nobody out, top of the fourth. This ball slicing down the right field line toward the bullpen. A couple of the Pirates didn't want any part of that one. It's a long strike, too.
Crowd getting a little excited here.
Let's go Tribe is what I'm hearing. There will be some divided ballparks today. I'm sure a lot of Giant fans will be across the bay in Oakland. Over the weekend, the Cardinals were in Kansas City for the Battle of Missouri, and there was a lot of Cardinal red arguing with Royal blue in the ballpark there. It's a great thing when these geographic rivals get together. Cleveland and Pittsburgh, not that far apart. He gave him the good move, and Vizquel kind of taking his time getting back. A quick tag by Eddie Williams.
Well, Vizquel offers power for the Indians, so he's trying to get a good jump there. As you see, the throw goes over and chases him back. He made it closer than it should have been. But Marquise Grisman and Vizquel are the stolen base leaders of this ball club. They're the guys that you look for to, steal a few bases.
Omar with 37. This line drive caught by Guillen. Jose moving over to his right. Let's move it over again to Reese Davis.
All right, Bob, in Philadelphia, once again, the gopher ball, the bugaboo for Irabu. This is the 12th he's given up in 38 2/3. Tony Barron got hold of it, his third home run of the season. The Phillies on top of the Yankees 4-0 in the bottom of the fourth. In Montreal, boy, Boston looking for somebody not to hit the ball out of the yard on him. Just got pounded by the Braves, and then David Segui takes 1 yard off Butch Henry, his 16th. 1-0 Montreal. Back to Bob.
Well, Reese, that's been the Red Sox big thing all year. Great offense. Roger Clemens gone. The pitching staff has been hammered. Here's Manny Ramirez. Boston Red Sox pitching staff with an ERA of 5.05. Only the Oakland Athletics are worse. Yankees chasing Baltimore. You'll see the Orioles later today on ESPN. Look out. Fastball diving way down and in. Ramirez somehow got away from it. That pitch was pouring in on him at 91 miles an hour. Scott Erickson for the Orioles. Tony Saunders for the Marlins. Florida 4.5 back of Atlanta. They've won 3 straight. Problem is the Braves have won 4 in a row. They just can't catch them. Marlins are on top of the wild card race in the National League. By 6 over the Giants, 7 over the Mets. So it's starting to look like Florida will be in postseason for the first time, with ex-Pirate manager Jim Leland at the controls of that talent-rich ball club. Pirates looking for a double play ball here. Runner goes. Swing and a miss. Kendall's throw right on the bag. Oh, what a throw. As Joe mentioned, he's nailed 41% this year. That's got to be one of the best throws of his career.
Well, as a second baseman, all you have to do is catch it. He makes the throw and the tag for you. You see the jump here by Vizquel. Now watch the throw right on the money. All he does is catch it. All he does is catch it. And Vizquel slides right into it. Nice throw by Kendall. Nice tag there by Womack.
Omar Vizquel nailed for the 9th time this year. Now it's a ball and a strike to Ramirez. Bases white clean, 2 down. Breaking ball misses low and away. He throws that heater down low again, 95 miles an hour, but it's ball 3.
Let's take a look at the swing. There's Ramirez. He's followed through. He hit Kendall on the back of the head. But because he has that helmet on, it doesn't affect him. And just think, you know, up until, you know, I'd say 10 or 12 years ago, the catchers didn't wear that helmet.
Long drive, right center. And this one is out of here. Manny Ramirez is 23rd of the year. RBI number 73. And the Bucks run in the bottom of the 3rd is answered quickly by the Tribe.
Well, I watched Ramirez play last Wednesday in Anaheim in the first at bat today, and I had not seen him hit a ball hard in quite a while. And he definitely drilled this one to right center field. And we'll go for 2 in this ball game. You see the target. Let's see how close he comes. Well, he hits the target area, but he's just a little up, and Ramirez lines it in the right center field seat for a home run.
That's a long ball to the opposite field. Probably hit it 400 or so. Matt Williams, the batter, with 2 outs, and now a 7-3 game.
Tell you what, Johnson looks like he's got excellent stuff. He just have to learn to keep that ball down. He's got a good sinking fastball.
Pretty good snap on that breaking pitch, and Matt Williams over the top of it. He's in the hole, 0-2. Indians have gone deep twice today. Alomar a 3-run shot in the first. When all 4 of their runs were unearned, a leadoff throwing error by Joe Randa. The Indians took advantage with 4 unearned runs. 2-run double by Grissom in the 3rd. Ramirez goes deep here in the 4th. The fastball just missing off the plate, ball 1. 23-year-old right-hander Jason Johnson. He was pitching in single-A ball a year ago. Lynchburg of the Carolina League, 1-4 in 15 games. And they promoted him up to the Sally League. And here he is, 1st of September, making his 2nd Major League appearance. Two-two. He got Williams in the breaking ball. Kendall, long throw, got him in time. A base hit, a caught stealing, and a solo homer by Manny Ramirez. His 23rd puts the Indians on top again by 4.
Lynette Jennings, planning a home.
ESPN Major League Baseball, happy Labor Day to you. From Pittsburgh, Bob Carpenter, Joe Morgan, and the Indians have really been hitting today. They've had at least 2 men on base in every inning. They've scored 7 times. And for the Pirates, the bottom 3 in their batting order here in the bottom of the 4th against Chad Ogea. Jose Guillen to lead off. Guillen, a fly ball to center first time up. Then the numbers 8 and 9 batters. We'll see if Jason Johnson stays into bat here. Pirates have another pitcher working. Jason Christensen, the left-hander.
Well, the right-hander Johnson actually threw well, but if they get a couple of runners on, I'm sure they will pinch hit for him.
Ball hits the mound, up the middle, base hit. Twice during the game, actually 3 times. We'll get it going for you. The box score of this ball game. Nunez, the man coming up right now. Cooke 0 for his first at bat. He's out of the ball game. And we'll see how Gene Lamont plays it once it gets down to that number 9 hole. On deck circle still empty. Abraham Nunez, the rookie shortstop.
This start for Ogea obviously very important for the Cleveland Indians, so that they can stay with a 5-man rotation rather than drop down to 4. And the 4 could be difficult for them because you have Jarrett Wright as one of the 4 starters, and Jarrett Wright has not pitched a lot of innings, in the past. Now he's up over 160, and then your arm starts to tire a little bit for a young player, so you'd hate to have to run him out there too often.
Slow roller out to second. Tony Fernandez had all his momentum going toward the first baseman. 1 out, runner at second base. Reese Davis again. Well, Pete Rose Jr. making it to the major leagues after struggling for a while in the minors, sort of found himself. Now with the runner aboard, Johnson will stay in and try to move that runner around.
I don't understand this.
Yeah, with nobody out, maybe.
Yeah, but they missed the sign, so they're going to talk to him. You do not bunt the runner to third with 1 out. You go ahead and swing, try to drive him in. If you don't get him in, so what? Leave it up to the next guy. And this is Johnson's first major league at bat, so maybe that's the reason why he missed the sign.
Now he swings away and had a pretty good hack, but it's 0-2. By the way, if you folks were wondering what in the world Joe and I were talking about there a moment ago, for some reason you did not see or hear the highlight we had from Cincinnati. Pete Rose Jr. today, with Dad watching, got his first major league base hit. We'll hope to show you that somewhere along the line.
Yeah, I hope to see it myself.
Sure, that'd be a nice moment for you, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Little guy who used to hang around the big red machine. You're right. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
He kind of completes the cycle in that Ken Griffey Jr. was in there, Pedro Barbon Jr., Eduardo Perez, Brian McRae. So they're all in the big leagues now. Or at least, Ben had a chance to play in the big leagues.
Okay, Reese, let's cue it up again and have a look at Pete Rose Jr.
All right, Bob, we'll see if we've got it this time, and I believe we do. Pete Rose standing in against Kevin Avier, and he smokes one that just gets into right field, his first big league hit. Hey, that brings the father-son total to 42-57 now. Reds over the Royals 3-1.
Hadaway, Dad. Happy Labor Day. Top of the order, Tony Womack, the batter for the Pirates. And physically, Pete Jr. looks a little like Pete Sr. in that uniform, doesn't he?
Yes, he does. While I was there, I would tell Pete, well, you never hit him that hard when you got your base hit. It's a little harder than you.
But will the quantity be there? That's the big question. Lots of quantity. This foul ball over by the dugout and about 5 or 6 rows deep. Ball and a strike on Tony Womack. Tony has walked, stolen a base, scored a run. That was all in the first inning. Leading off the 30 fly to center. hit, right field. Ball hugging the ground. Around third, Guillen. It's a 7-4 ball game. These Pirates will not go away. But they've been like that all year long.
Well, you're right, because the young players are just enthusiastic. They don't realize, you know, what the score is. They're just playing the game, and that's important. You know, and I would like to take a look at this pitch. Womack hit the ball hard his last time up as well, and he grounds this in the hole for a base hit. And Guillen comes around to score easily on the play.
Well, Ogea, known for his sinker, looked like Womack did a nice job of going down and on the AstroTurf hitting the ball hard. The turf took care of the rest. Jermaine Allensworth, the batter, he singled and scored last time up. Womack with 46 steals, not moving. Make it 47 now with the one he got in the first inning, not moving on the pitch out.
Well, I think that was interesting that they pitched out finally just to try to, you know, slow this Pirate relay team down. You have to let them know that you will try it every once in a while. I don't think it should deter them from taking the base, but that's what you do defensively.
Matt Williams, the easy chopper. Pirates have stolen 3 today, even though they've been trailing big early. They battled their way back into this game, and they're down by 3 into the 5th inning. We've had strikes or spares in every frame but number 2 today. They are scoring on a regular basis. Indians out hitting the Pirates 8-6, leading 7-4. A lot of Tribe fans here today. And David Justice leads off at the top of the 5th inning. Dave has scored twice after walking and after singling. We'll get another look at big, hard-throwing Jason Johnson here.
I think the one thing that Gene Lamont has to be impressed with from Johnson is his velocity. I mean, he's got movement on his fastball, and it's a very live fastball.
Tails that one to the outside corner. 92 miles an hour with a little bit of movement.
I can live with that.
It better move, though.
Yeah.
It better not be straight.
No, it better not be straight.
Fastball up and away. It's Justice, Alomar, and Fernandez here in the Indians' 5th inning. Cleveland 8 games over 500, 3.5 up on the Brewers, who are at Houston this holiday. 3 over 500 on the road. One of the reasons, I guess the primary reason, the Indians are in front in the Central. They have dominated the teams in their division with a record of 21-9, 7-0 against Kansas City, 8-4 against Milwaukee, 4-2 against Minnesota. Only the White Sox have given them problems, 2-3.
Well, when they had an unbalanced schedule, that was how you would win a pennant, beat up on the teams in your own division.
2-2 pitch. Breaking ball goes down low. Are also over 500 against their division, the NL Central. They've really beaten up on the Cardinals. That's a breaking ball inside. Did he ever swing? Yes.
No, I don't think he swung.
Says Ed Montague. His body and his bat came around, but it wasn't in swinging, I don't think.
No, I don't. He turned. His body turned. Watch the bat. Don't watch his body. His bat never even left his shoulder. I mean, that's amazing. His bat never left his shoulder. I knew he didn't swing. Look at that. I mean, his bat doesn't even leave. The head of the bat never goes toward the plate.
Here's Alomar. 1 for 2 with his 17th home run of the year today. His RBI total up to 67. Far surpassing his totals of last year when Alomar hit 263, hit 11 homers, and drove in 50. So in his 8th full Major League season, he's becoming the star that everybody always thought he could be. We've always known what a great defensive catcher he was, whipping that ball around the infield. He has really added a lot of offense to his game this year.
Well, he had a lot of injuries early in his career, knees and arms. He's had a lot of injuries, and I think this is his healthy season, and he's proven that all his potential was to be realized.
Good fastball to the outside corner. Tom Hallion giving these American League hitters a look at that National League strike zone. We've seen him give consistent strikes just off the plate outside from the right-handers. Ball hanging up high in more ways than one. Joe Randa waiting for it. 2 down.
Joe Randa was glad to see one come at him in the air where he didn't have to make a throw.
2 throwing errors. Although the second one did not hurt when Marquise Grissom at third base with nobody out stood there and watched the Pirates turn a 6-4-3 double play. And then Seitzer walked. Ramirez struck out. The Indians did not score in that second. And that's the only time they have not scored today. Tony Fernandez 1 for 2. Now Randa's got to throw one on target. And a 1-2-3 5th inning for Jason Johnson. He's retired 4 straight. Halfway through, it's the Browns over the Steelers. Three Rivers Stadium, Pittsburgh, PA. Cleveland Indians in town. Second half of this ball game coming up. Tribe 7-4 over the Bucks. It'll be Al Martin, Eddie Williams, and Joe Randa for Pittsburgh in the bottom of the 5th inning. Chad Ogea, his immediate goal now, with Martin leading off, is to get 5 innings in. Don't worry about what's to come after that, but he wants to get a win his first time off the DL. Al Martin's been a problem for him today.
And the only inning that he's been successful was the second. He had a 1-2-3 inning in the second. That was the 7, 8, and 9 hitters in the lineup.
He's got an interesting motion, does Chad Ogea. Real short arm of the ball. Reminiscent a little bit of a right-hander who pitched last year for Cleveland, Ken Hill.
Yeah, they were similar, so I think Ken Hill threw a little harder.
Fly ball right field. Ramirez going back, almost to the wall. Al Martin not missing his 11th homer of the year by much. Wednesday night baseball coming up on ESPN, and one of baseball's hottest players leads one of the hottest teams. It's Palmeiro and the Orioles visiting Moises Alou and the Marlins at 7:30. And then that's not all. There's Tony Gwynn coming up for you, chasing his 8th batting title against the Mariners powerhouse, Martinez, Rodriguez, Griffey. They're pacing Seattle. What a doubleheader coming up on Wednesday night baseball. In fact, by the time we get done with it, you'll see 2 of the 3 that the Orioles play down in Florida. Eddie Williams a walk and an RBI base hit. He had a ball off the wall last time up.
Here's how interesting baseball is. The Orioles, considered the best team in baseball now, went out and beat the Atlanta Braves 3 in a row in Atlanta, and then they lose the last 2 games to the New York Mets, 2 out of 3 to the Mets at home. This tells you how the game is played. Every day is a different day.
I saw that over the weekend in Kansas City. Blowout one day. Good, tight 5-4 ball game the next. To the right side. Backhand, Seitzer. And the former Royal on to Ogea for the second out.
You had a blowout there in more ways than one, didn't they?
It was interesting to watch the Cardinals and the Royals brawl. Joe, everybody was talking about what a nice, polite rivalry that was going to be. You know, no Red Sox, Yankees, no Dodgers, Giants. Next thing we look up, the Cardinals and the Royals are brawling. The coaches are in on it.
Oh.
There were more coaches brawling than players the other night. It was really something. Joe Randa, the batter for Pittsburgh. We've seen a whole new side of Major League Baseball this year. An It'll be real interesting to see what happens with realignment. It'll happen in some form. How far they go remains to be seen. Some of these small market clubs like the Pirates and the Royals, that could be a very integral part, Joe, of what their future will be, what happens to them as far as the divisions go.
Well, I'm one of those people of the opinion that less is more. The less they do, the better off they are. But, you know, they have their reasons, and my reasons are different than theirs for looking at it the way that I do. I just look at it from a fan's perspective.
And Cleveland-Pittsburgh certainly is a lot of fun. I know the Pirates, as an organization, maybe feel that if they ended up in the same division eventually with Cleveland, they could be constantly overshadowed by the Indians. I know the Royals feel that way about the Cardinals and maybe even the Cubs because of their TV following. But it sure is nice to see all these people in the seats. 1-2 pitch, slapped out to second, and a 1-2-3 fifth inning for both pitchers. It's been an offensive show. Maybe now it's starting to settle down. Cleveland 7-4 after 5. Yeah, they're even sitting in the upper deck here at Three Rivers today. Great to see this ballpark nearly full. There'll be 3 big crowds for the weekend, or actually for the Labor Day weekend wrap-up with Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday games here. Top of the 6th. And the Cleveland batter is Marquise Grissom. Marquise 3 for 3. That's his second single of the day. He's doubled in a couple of runs. And the Indians have their 9th base hit.
Bob, while you have this break here, I wanted to continue the conversation about the alignment, but all these people here today are here because of interleague play. Would all these people show up if they were playing each other 7 to 10 times a year? So I think they've accomplished what they set out to do, and that's to set up some rivalries, but you do them on a short-term basis rather than putting them in the same division, because then I don't think it would have the same glamour or appeal that it has on a short-term basis. I mean, I think interleague play has been a success, and I think that, you know, they should continue along those lines. But as far as radical realignment, I definitely do not agree with it.
Well, Chad Ogea got his 5 innings in. This is on again, off again Cleveland Indian Jeff Manto. His latest call-up came when the Indians dropped Julio Franco. He will bat for the pitcher here in the top of the 6th inning. There's the right-hander, Albie Lopez. They've got a whole bunch of right-handers down there. 7 of them they can go to, along with 3 left-handers with the expanded rosters. Jeff Manto, 2 hits in 10 at-bats on the year with 1 RBI. 2 of those at-bats without a hit have come as a pinch hitter.
Marquise Grissom does not steal bases nearly as often as he did in the National League. Hasn't attempted many. As of last Wednesday, they only stolen 1 base in his last 37 games.
20 on the year. He's got a foot on the carpet. Third inning of work for the Pittsburgh right-hander Jason Johnson in relief of Steve Cooke. Steve Cooke, only 3 innings, gave up 6 runs, but he deserved better because 4 of those, all in the first inning, were unearned. So even this time, not by his own doing, Cooke's first inning jinx continues. Could be the story of this ball game. That's now 31 runs given up in the first inning by Steve Cooke in 13 different starts this year.
So it's very difficult for him to, you know, have a good ball game if you get off to a slow start.
No balls, 2 strikes to Manto. Kendall sets up outside corner. Fastball didn't miss by much. He hit his spot pretty well there on 0-2.
Well, I think the reason he doesn't get this call is Kendall sets up too far outside. And then he hits the glove, but he's just too far outside. If he sets up just off the corner, he may get that call. He was too far off the plate with his body and everything else. But that's an 0-2 pitch.
Yeah, so you're better off a little further away than maybe framing the pitch.
Yeah. That's a good 0-2 pitch, though. I mean, you try to get the guy to chase it.
Leadoff man aboard here in the top of the 6th. Jammed him. John Hart, a busy man this year. Lately, he got John Smiley and Jeff Branson from Cincinnati. Picked up Jeff Juden from Montreal. Earlier, Grissom and Justice from Atlanta. Kenny Lofton changing addresses. One-two pitch, pitch out. Grissom holding. Just underway at the Astrodome. 2 ball clubs involved with these 2 here. If anything happens there, Reese Davis will keep you updated this afternoon. That's a breaking ball that hangs up and in 3-2. He had him 0-2.
When a guy struggles a little bit with his strike, his strike zone, I find it difficult to pitch out when the count is 1-2. 0-2, okay, but 1-2. You put him in a very tenuous situation.
3-2 pitch, and it's fouled on a play down the right field side.
And again, Grissom not running. I think 3 balls, 2 strikes with a fast runner at first is almost an automatic to be running with the pitch, but Grissom was not running, which kind of tells me that his legs are not as healthy as you would like for them to be.
Three and two again. Slapped out to right center. Long run for Guillen, and he gets there. Grissom back to first base. 1 on, 1 out. And let's get an update on Labor Day action from Reese Davis.
All right, Bob, thanks very much. Yankees and Phillies. Curt Schilling leads the majors in strikeouts. Derek Jeter finds out why. That was number 11 on the day. 275 for Schilling on the season. Phillies up 5-1 in the 6th. Continuing with a New York theme. Only 2 hits have been given up in the entire game by Pat Hentgen and Jason Isringhausen until John Olerud greeted his old mates with a solo job, his 17th, and that's up 1-0.
I'm continually amazed, Joe Morgan, of the season Curt Schilling has had.
Yes.
Leads the league in strikeouts, top 10 in ERA. He's one of the big winners in the league for a Philadelphia team, 33 games out of first place.
Not only that, I've seen him lose at least 3 victories because they couldn't hold it in the 9th inning for him.
Yeah, Ricky Vitalico has struggled in 3 different times when he would have had additional wins. Omar Vizquel takes a changeup low and away. 1 ball, 1 strike. Omar with a run scored in the first after reaching on the Joe Randa throwing error. Hit a double play ball on the 2nd. Base hit caught stealing just ahead of the Ramirez home run in the 4th. Goes on the hit and run. Vizquel slaps it off to the left side. He was definitely protecting his runner there.
Yeah, he just was trying to foul a pitch off, which is what he did. I don't think he was even trying to put it in play. I think he really just wanted to reach out and foul that pitch. And he got lucky enough to do that.
So the count goes to 1-2. 5 innings for Chad Ogea today. 4 runs on 6 hits. He walked 2, struck out 3. It appears Albie Lopez will take over. And the Pirates bat in the bottom of the 6th inning. ball heading past the mound. A quick exchange by Tony Womack to make the play. A bit distracting for Jason Johnson trying to get over to first base. Tony Womack charging on the play.
Well, he's lucky at second base was able to make the play because he was trying to avoid the bat. Because it started bouncing towards him. And we've seen Vizquel do this a lot. He'll throw the bat at the ball just to put the ball in play.
It'll be up to Kevin Seitzer with 2 down. Seitzer 1 for 2 with a double, a run scored. He's walked and lined out to right. Big breaking ball. Looked like Johnson took a little bit off that time. His normal breaking ball is in the low to mid 80s. That one on the clock at 78. The fastball right down the middle.
Well, he has a good fastball, and it's a lively fastball, and he's able to spot it pretty well. He's staying pretty much out of the middle of the plate. He's on one corner or the other.
After him, little bouncer out to second. Tony Womack throws wide, and just staying on the bag was Eddie Williams. So Johnson continues to pitch fairly well, and Albie Lopez is headed in to settle it down. Bottom of the 6th inning at Three Rivers Stadium in Pittsburgh. Indians on top of the Pirates, 7-4, and into the bullpen, Mike Hargrove and Mark Wiley will go. 26-year-old right-hander Albie Lopez. This guy knows all about the shuttle between AAA and AA and the big club. He's been with the Indians parts of the last 5 seasons. After the Tribe took him in '91 as their 20th round pick, he had previously been drafted by the Giants in '89 and the Mariners in '90. Albie's 30th appearance of the year. All but 6 in relief. And Jason Kendall leads off for the Pirates. Kendall twice today has hit the ball the other way, flied to right both times. Puts up over his helmet. 2-1.
That was an attempt at a changeup.
It was up. Drops one down low to even the count, 2-2. No score, top of the 2nd at Houston. The Brewers and the Astros battling. Milwaukee just 3.5 back of these Indians, and the Pirates are even closer to Houston. Astros had a disastrous weekend at Comiskey Park. They got swept. They've lost 4 in a row overall, and now the first place club in the National League Central is only 4 games over the 500 mark. St. Louis gains 3 games in the last 4 days. If you're 7 out on Labor Day, do you have a shot? Stranger things have happened in baseball.
I don't think there's any doubt that you have a shot because, you know, when there's 30-something games left, you always have a shot.
Everybody remembers 1964 in the National League. The Reds, the Phillies, and the Cardinals. Long run for Seitzer. Count stays 3-2. St. Louis, hard to believe they're in the race, 10 games under 500, but they are. Pirates trying to get back to 500 today. Astros have lost 4 straight. White Sox are in St. Louis. So there's a lot of these teams relating to each other today with some of these matchups on Labor Day. Central and Central. Phil Garner makes his return to Houston today. Line drive caught by Fernandez off the bat of Jason Kendall.
Well, you can see Kendall makes a conscious effort to go to right field almost every at bat, unless you hang something inside. Hit the ball hard, but right at the second baseman.
In Chicago today, Andy McPhail welcomes his old ball club, the Minnesota Twins, to Wrigley Field.
Sammy Sosa welcomed them with a 2-run homer in the bottom of the first to tie that game.
Yes, he did. You've been watching the scoreboard, too, haven't you?
Anybody that tells you they don't watch the scoreboard this time of year, something's wrong with them. All the players say, I don't watch the scoreboard.
Yeah.
Well, what else do you do?
This ball will fall and get by Ramirez. Jose Guillen thinking 3 bases. Picked up by Grissom. He's at third with 1 out. That's the problem you have on AstroTurf. You can play a single into 3 bases very quickly.
Well, that's exactly what he did. He played that single into a triple. You know, when you're ahead in the ball game 7-4, you know, it's 1 out, just let the ball, you know, take it a single. I mean, he misses this ball by a long way. The ball's hit off the end of the bat. Now, watch how far away he is when he gets to that ball. He really had no chance. And it bounces away now. They have another runner at third with a chance to pull 1 run closer here in the bottom of the 6th inning. If he plays that into a single, the double play is still in order.
Number 8 man, Abraham Nunez, looking for his 3rd Major League RBI. It would be a big one. It would mean at least for the Pirates, every time they get a runner in the last 3 innings, the Tide runs at home plate. Little line drive off to the left, 1 ball, 1 strike.
And what you have to do here as a hitter, you have to say, I'm going to put the ball in play. You have to make sure you make contact. You can't strike out.
There's a good veteran to have around if you got a lot of young players. Dale Swain, switch hitter, reliable infielder. Got to have some guys like that. The Pirates have a host of them. Eddie Williams they brought over from the Dodgers. Turner Ward's been around for a while. There's the left-hander who's really got a good arm for the Pirates, Jeff Wallace. 1-2 pitch, and Nunez barely got a piece of it. The man at third, 1 out. Nunez, fly ball left field. That will be deep enough. Justice backpedaling. It's a 7-5 ball game. The rookie delivers a big fly ball. Base is empty, 2 down. We've got a ball game again. Reese Davis, how about you?
Bob, it looks as if we have one in Cincinnati as well. Jermaine Dye capped off a 3-run Royal rally in the 6th with an RBI double to give KC a 4-3 lead. By the way, the fan that we saw fall out of the right field bleachers reaching for the Ed Parbincy home run in Cincinnati, awake, alert, complaining of pain in his back and leg, but no evidence of a head injury so far, and that's certainly good news.
That is good news, Reese. Now a bit of a change for the Pirates. Instead of Dale Swaim, it'll be Emil Brown. The young outfielder who will be the pinch batter now with the bases empty. I think what Gene Lamont's doing here, Joe, had he needed the 2-out RBI hit, he was going to go with the veteran. Now he'll save Swaim for later. And he goes with a young guy who goes up hacking, high fly, Seitzer, reaching, and he couldn't get it.
And you see the umpire there pointing in, meaning the ball was inside the, within the stands, which means the fans can interfere, or if they can catch it, they're not interfering. It was interesting. Now watch this. Look, Sicer reaches over in there. He doesn't get it. The ball hits on the ground. Now, see, it's not in his glove. Now, watch, he'll reach down and get it, and then he shows the umpire at first base that he has it. Now, watch, he doesn't have it right there. Now, he reaches down and gets it, and there it is. He's showing him I have the ball. But the umpire won't go for that. Wally Bell says, no, I was there watching, which he was.
No balls, 2 strikes very quickly. Emo Brown, 3 for 21 with a couple of RBIs as a pinch hitter this year. Overall, a 174 batter. And he's gone very quickly. But in the 6th inning, those chip-away Pirates continue to do just that. The triple, the sac fly. Last 3 innings coming up, big guns for the Indians. Their lead down 7-5.
ESPN's Major League Baseball is brought to you by the Discover Card.
What a wonderful Labor Day at Three Rivers Stadium in Pittsburgh. Big crowd of 45,298 in the stands. Offensive show. Indians 4 in the first. Left-hander Jeff Wallace, who can throw hard. One of those youngsters the Pirates are looking at here in September will take over. With his team just 2 runs down now.
If you're a left-hander and you throw hard and you can throw strikes, you can be successful in the big leagues. You can throw strikes. See, he's had 4 base on balls during less than 3 innings, so I guess the jury would have to still be out to see whether he can actually throw strikes, but Peter Pasquarelli says he has good stuff.
Francisco Cordova, one of the no-hitter pitchers in Major League Baseball this year, with a little bit of help from one of his buddies, Mr. Rincon. And the 7th inning is underway. Manny Ramirez, he has hit a ground ball for an RBI, a solo homer, so 74 ribbies on the year, but quite honestly, with that bad defensive play, he gave the Pirates a run back in that 6th inning.
You're right.
I mean, there still are a couple of AstroTurf fields in the American League. And if you play every day, you don't take those kind of chances on artificial turf, even when you don't see it that often.
But even on natural turf, Bob, when you're ahead by 3 runs, you make the other team come catch you. You do not do anything to help them out. You know, the guy hits a single, let him have a single. Just do not play it into a triple or even a double. You know, you're giving them a chance to put runners in scoring position. Just make them earn all the runs they get. That's the theory you should work under once you get ahead in the ball game.
2 balls and a strike. Jeff Wallace delivers. Comebacker. 1 out. That's how the 7th inning gets underway. And let's check in again with Reese Davis.
All right, Bob. Once again, the Mets playing a little long ball against Pat Henkin. Butch Husky this time. His hitting streak now at 10. His home run total at 18. And the Mets have jumped on top of the Blue Jays 2-0 behind Isringhausen.
Nice to see Jason Isringhausen back on the mound after an injury and sickness-filled year. Now the Mets 7 back of Florida in the wild card race. And Butch Husky having a bit of a breakout season for Bobby Valentine. This should be an interesting matchup. The hard-throwing left-handed kid against the big power-hitting right-handed veteran. Matt Williams, though, 0 for 3 today with that 17-game hitting streak at stake. Must have been the changeup, 83 miles an hour. 1 ball, 1 strike. Dropped it nicely out around that outside corner. Division leader, 1 second-place team in action here. It'll be the same scenario later on today on ESPN. Williams to deep short. Long throw, Nunez. Save at first base. And Matt Williams keeps the hitting streak alive with an infield hit.
Good hustle by Matt Williams, a fine play by Nunez. But because it's AstroTurf, he gets the ball a little deeper than you would like. So the throw obviously a little longer. And Matt Williams able to be up. Now watch, he gets out of the bat. Good. Batter's box good. See, he's moving towards first. He catches that actually in the outfield grass, technically. Turns and fires, but Matt hustling all the way, just barely beats it. After he hits the bag, Matt was walking back like he might have jammed his foot. You see right there, it's his left foot, which is what he hit the bag with, or his left knee.
1-on-1 out, Justice the batter. Indians all sporting the Jackie Robinson look today with their holiday socks and pants. Well, and they might keep it up for a while if they keep hitting like this. 10 base hits, 7 runs.
Well, one of the reasons they did that, it was Jim Thomey's birthday last Wednesday. So they wore their pants up like Jim Thomey wears his. Everyone, that was kind of a tribute to Jim on his birthday. And they scored 10 runs in the 3rd inning. They had not been scoring a lot of runs. So they've continued to wear them like that. And Jim Thomey's not playing.
Evidently, they can do okay without him.
Yeah. There's what they did last Wednesday. 14 batters and 10 runs, 9 hits. Williams had 6 ribbies in that 1 inning. A 3-run homer and a double.
Runner going. Pitch low and away. Good throw by Kendall, but he really had no chance. Matt Williams with the stolen base.
Matt has always been able to read some pitchers and get a pretty good jump. I mean, he'll steal a base for you every once in a while. Now watch what he does here. He just takes off on his first movement, actually. And Kendall comes up and fires, but not in time.
Every time the Pirates have gotten back close today, the Indians have answered with a run of their own, or 2. It was 4-0 in the first. Pirates got 2 in the bottom of the inning. Then the Indians got those back in the top of the 3rd. Pirates scored a run bottom of the 3rd, and Cleveland grabbed another one on the Ramirez homer in the 4th. Pirates a run bottom 4. Another one in the 6th inning. 7-5 here in the 7th. Justice fans on a pitch away. Well, we mentioned 1 runner-up in the standings and 1 first-place team in this ballpark. That'll happen later as the AL East leaders. The Orioles are down in Miami to take on Bobby Bonilla and the Florida Marlins. 3rd baseman Cal Ripken having another fine year. Scott Erickson 15-5 on the mound for Baltimore later today. A marquee holiday pair of matchups here on Labor Day. Sandy Alomar, 1 for 3 with a home run. A 3-run homer, the game's big blow back in the 1st inning. Left-hander, a nice job of jamming him there. 0-2. Joe, a big 1st inning.
Well, they were trying to get the fastball in, and it moved back out over the plate, and he hit it over the left field wall.
And he really should not have even batted in that inning.
You're right.
Steve Cooke threw 3 ground balls. One of them got thrown away, and they gave him 4 outs, 4 runs. Play of a game. That could be the case today. The Bucks are far from out of this one, though. Indians strand a runner. They've left 5. Time to stretch at Three Rivers. 7-5 Cleveland. Well, let's go Bucks. The big cheer in the stands right now as the Pirate fans would like a 7th inning rally, down by 2. One of the comeback kids teams in baseball. Kind of like the Mets. Mets have had a lot of come-from-behind wins this year. In fact, Pittsburgh, a really important series in the NL Central. 4 days before the All-Star break, they went to St. Louis. The Cardinals had just swept Minnesota in interleague play to get back to the 500 mark. The Pirates went to Busch, trailed in 3 ball games, won all 4 of them, including a 4th of July game you saw here on ESPN, and really convinced everybody that they were going to be a factor in the NL Central race. They took a team that was about to take off and just put them back on the ground for the All-Star break.
Well, again, I think they have young players and they have good leadership when Gene Lamont and the pitching staff has good leadership from Pete Vukovich.
Popped up, short right center from Tony Womack. Keith Grissom just cruising in for the first out here in the bottom of the 7th. Next up, Jermaine Allensworth and Al Martin.
Center fielder, Jermaine Allensworth.
You have a lot of young players. The first thing you have to do is keep their confidence up and give them a lot of confidence in themselves, and I think that's what Gene Lamont has done, and I know that's what Pete Vukovich has done.
Allensworth takes a breaking ball that hangs up and in. Jermaine, a base hit, a steal, a run scored in 3 trips today. Little slapper down to third, 1 hop easy for Matt Williams, and the ex-Gold Glover for the second out.
When Matt Williams first came to the big leagues with the San Francisco Giants, I watched him play a lot, and I thought he had the best hands of any young player that I had ever seen. I've seen some older players develop softer hands, but as a young player, I mean, he had just magnificent hands.
And they're not bad on a bat either, huh?
No. But he actually struggled his first year as a hitter, first couple of years, but he could pick it.
Pretty good gas by Albie Lopez, right by Al Martin. Martin with a double for an RBI in the first inning. He stole third, ended up scoring. And he almost homered in the 5th, flying out to the wall in right field. He's hit 10 this year, 45 RBIs. Right now, nobody's getting around very well on Albie Lopez. Got him on a pitch away. 1-2-3, 7th inning for the Cleveland right-hander. And to the 8th we go. Bottom of the order coming up for the Indians. They've led all the way. They're on top, 7-5. Well, it's Bob and Joe today. John and Joe, you guys are going to see Cleveland again on Sunday night, aren't you?
Yeah, so we go to Cleveland. We see them play the White Sox on Sunday. And I'm looking forward to that. Albert Bell's return to Cleveland, for one thing, and the fact that the Cleveland Indians are trying to hold off the Chicago White Sox. So it'll be an interesting series.
It has been a very interesting season for Cleveland. All those injuries to their pitching staff, trying to hold off Milwaukee and the White Sox. That'll be a real key series this weekend. Sunday night baseball on ESPN. And here we are on Monday, Labor Day. This one into the top of the 8th inning. Tony Fernandez, Marquise Grissom, then the pitcher spot duo. And the way Albie Lopez is throwing, we could see him batting. He's a guy who can give you some relief innings, having started plenty before. Little flare out to second. Tony Womack has it. 1 out here in the 8th. And let's check in for highlights with Reese Davis.
All right, Bob. Joe mentioned he wanted to get a look at Albert Bell. How about a little sneak preview? David Bell knocks one out there to left center field against the White Sox. Albert's going to chase the thing down. Mike DeFelice is going to try to score. Albert, the relay to Guillen. Here comes DeFelice. Safe. Cardinals on top 2-0 in the 5th.
David Bell's had a great week for the Cardinals with that bat. Buddy Bell's son won a ball game for the Cardinals the other night. And the White Sox, of course, will stay on the road and play Cleveland. Frank Thomas hitting .352. David Justice coming into this game today at .339. So John and Joe will have plenty of offense to talk about Sunday night. popping it to Jake. There's another little pop.
Tell you what, he's firing them in there on the hands of the first two hitters.
And he will face Albie Lopez.
That's interesting. They were getting Mike Jackson up, but now they have decided.
I wonder if those first two outs got made so fast they knew they couldn't get him ready.
That might be right.
And now Albie goes up hacking.
Yeah, Albie says, look, if they can't do any better, let me turn it loose.
Albie Lopez, his first at bat in the major leagues. Oh, 95 miles an hour on the Jeff Wallace fastball. If you're wondering about the Pittsburgh 8th inning, they'll have their 4, 5, and 6 guys coming up. It's not exactly Williams, Justice, and Alomar, but it will be Eddie Williams, Joe Randa, and Jason Kendall. And that's coming up a little quicker than we thought. Jeff Wallace, 2 scoreless innings. He and Lopez having some great bullpen work toward the end of this game. Well, it's a lazy holiday to take a boat ride on the Allegheny, near the confluence with the Monongahela. That's the Golden Triangle of Pittsburgh, across from Three Rivers Stadium. And they, of course, form the mighty Ohio. Speaking of Ohio, lots of Cleveland folks here today on Labor Day. Bob Carpenter, Joe Morgan, ESPN Major League Baseball, the Orioles and the Marlins coming up later. Bottom of the 8th inning, it's getting late for the Bucks. And Albie Lopez has been outstanding.
Yes, he's throwing strikes, and he has a good fastball and a good off-speed pitch, and he's keeping these hitters off balance.
This is a ball game that could have gotten away from Mike Hargrove. But Albie Lopez, who came in the 6th, has settled things down rather well. Popped up over by the dugout, and no way for Kevin Seitzer to get a chance at it. Left-hander Paul Ossenmacher for the Indians, and right-hander Mike Jackson, who did a nice job of closing ball games while Jose Mesa was unavailable. Jackson 14 saves during that time. Cleveland bullpen has 5 pitchers with saves this year.
Well, when you do not have your top closer, Jose Mesa, at the beginning of the season, then you always search to find sometimes, and then you use that bullpen by committee, which works pretty well in a lot of cases.
Handling that bullpen will turn a few of your hairs gray. I thought Jose Mesa would have a big year after that wonderful season he had in 1996. 39 saves. Some off-the-field problems affecting the start of his season. So dugout with a lot of talent in there. Pitch in the dirt, swing and a miss. Albie Lopez, as Joe mentioned, changing speeds well. He really slowed down the bat of Eddie Williams.
Now, this is his 3rd strikeout since coming in. And it looks like it's a forkball or a splitter, but it's some kind of changeup. It's an off-speed pitch. And you can see he's way out in front of it.
I haven't seen him really throw many breaking balls. Pretty much a 2-pitch pitcher coming out of the bullpen. Here's Joe Randa. Randa, part of the Pittsburgh end of the Jeff King, Jay Bell deal with Kansas City. He's at a 1-for-2 day with a sacrifice fly in his 45th RBI. The Pirates have had a lot of guys over at third base since the days when Jeff King was over there. He's now a first baseman for Tony Muser in Kansas City. up a run. Brewers are batting in the top of the fourth at Houston, trailing 1-0. Up the middle, under the pitcher's glove. Lopez took a stab at it. Into center field, Joe Randa on for the second time. Now the tying run comes up with Jason Kendall. Kendall 0 for 3, 2 fly balls, a line drive to second. Indians at double play depth. This is where that play by Manny Ramirez back in the 6th inning comes back to affect this ball game, Joe.
Exactly right. Instead of being a 3-run lead, the tying run is at the plate.
Pirates not a big home run hitting club, 105 on the year, tied with the Marlins, and that's got to be disappointing for Florida to be in the bottom 3 in the league in home runs. Phillies the least in baseball with 93. Fastball is in there. 1 ball, 1 strike. Strike. Short lead by the runner. Hit him with a fastball. Kendall just turned his back on it. Now the tying runs on base. And coming up, Jose Guillen, who's had a good day swinging the bat.
That's a fastball that just gets away from him. Watch Kendall. He steps in, so he goes into the pitch. Once you do that, you're basically frozen. There's no way you can get out of the way. And he's been hit quite a few times. Well, he's been hit 28 times to be exact. That leads the major leagues.
Took one for the team that time. Albie Lopez is done. And Mike Jackson, who has a lot of experience at this part of the game, coming in for the Cleveland Indians.
Reese Davis with you in Philadelphia. Curt Schilling has been untouchable. Tino Martinez, sit on it, Potsy. A career-high 16 Ks for Schilling. He's out of the game, but Talico's going to try to finish. We'll see if Mike Jackson can put out the fire in Pittsburgh, guys.
All right, Reese. Curt Schilling's had a whole bunch of double-digit strikeout games this year. Mike Jackson, a capable strikeout pitcher. Jose Guillen's had a big day. Jackson no longer the closer. But he knows how to get people out in the 8th and 9th innings. Here in the 8th, 2 on, 1 out. There's a runner looking in, Joe Randa from second base. So they want to get together to make sure they've got their signals right.
There you see Mike Jackson's numbers. 49 hits, 63 innings. That's good. 24 walks in 69 innings. A little more than you want, but you know, when you throw hard stuff and you move the ball around as he does, that's not an awful lot of walks in the situations that he pitches in.
Eddie Williams struck out to lead off the inning. Joe Randa base hit up the middle. And then Jason Kendall hit by a pitch. He's the tying run. Guillen 2 hits, 2 runs today. And that slider drops in there for strike 1.
And that slider is his out pitch along with the high fastball. He'll change speed a little bit on the slider.
Another breaking ball. This one fouled off.
And that was a pretty good pitch right there. First one was just a throw a strike with the slider pitch. That one was biting down and away.
Albie Lopez, 2 1/3 innings, couple of hits, 3 strikeouts. The hit batter could be a big play. 0-2 pitch. High fastball, and he had Jose Guillen jumping up after that one. Jose Guillen from the Dominican. He's only 21 years old. Didn't even turn 21 until 6 weeks into this season. Sidearm got him. Jackson dropping down a bit. That's a strikeout for the second out here in the 8th inning.
Well, this is not a great pitch, but I think because Ian had not seen the sidearm before, he didn't pick the ball up. Now watch, this pitch is up. I mean, it stays right up and over the plate, so Jackson got away with a mistake right there, but the fact that I think Ian was looking for the ball coming from 3/4 and didn't pick it up as quickly helped Mike Jackson there.
Now, another one of those guys who's been around for a while will be the pinch hitter here in the number 8 hole for the Pirates. Switch hitting outfielder Turner Ward. First saw him with Toronto a couple of years ago. And he's been a pretty effective pinch hitter for Gene Lamont. 5 for 16 as a pinch hitter with 3 runs batted in. Baltimore at Florida. I'll be getting underway in about 20 minutes or so. That's the second half of our Labor Day doubleheader. Scott Erickson and Tony Saunders just about getting their warm-up started for that one. 2 on, 2 out.
Well, this is smart. Mike Jackson has more problems, of course, with left-handed hitters than he does right-handers because that slider's coming into the left-handed hitters. He uses fastball a lot, and a changeup he'll use a lot against left-handers.
Breaking ball, backdoor comes in.
That's another high slider.
Randa still frozen at second. Jason Kendall 90 feet behind him. 7-5 ball game in the bottom of the 8th. Now it's 1-2. Milwaukee picked up a run in the 4th inning at Houston. Brewers chasing the Indians. Pirates chasing the Astros. White Sox have tied up the Cardinals in St. Louis. Lots of division race happenings on Labor Day. Fastball missing away. Alomar appeals, and Montague says no swing.
Well, we'll take a look at this pitch and let you decide. I don't think he swung.
Certainly was not a called strike. Close enough for that. 2-2. Got him on a pitch down low. Indians strike out the side, and the Pirates strand a couple. They've left 6, and now the first time Cleveland and Pittsburgh get together, we go into the 9th inning with an exciting 7-5 game.
ESPN's Major League Baseball is brought to you by new Slick 50 Synchron Fuel System Treatment, the 5,000-mile performer. $45,298 at Three Rivers in Pittsburgh today. They have seen a dandy. The new pitcher is left-hander, 27 years of age, Matt Rubel for the Pirates. It'll be his 42nd game of the year. ERA inflated a bit. Gene Lamont makes a double switch in the pitcher spot. Rubel will be batting 8th now, and Dale Swain will take over at shortstop and bat 9th. That makes Dale the leadoff man in the bottom of the 9th inning. The Indians' closer is up, Jose Mesa. So all the wheels in a 2-run game you'd expect to be turning are in the 9th inning of a holiday game in Pittsburgh. Top of the order, Omar Vizquel, Kevin Seitzer, Manny Ramirez for the Indians.
Well, it's very important that Rubel just hold the Cleveland Indians right here because you have a legitimate shot at scoring a couple of runs, but if you fall 3 or more behind, it's going to be very difficult to come back against Jose Mesa or Mike Jackson, who leads them in.
Vizquel with a base hit in 4 trips. And I think it's obvious that Rubel is not an overpowering pitcher. He'll nibble with that fastball away and break the curveball in on the right-handers. He goes to 3-1.
We talked about earlier, a left-hander that throws strikes can be successful.
How about Jeff Wallace? He struck out 3, 1 hit in 2 scoreless innings. Now a payoff pitch with Seitzer on deck to the leadoff man. Indians looking for some 9th-inning insurance. Ball was off the plate, but Vizquel thought it was close enough.
Well, it probably was close enough that he should make an attempt at it. Rubel's ball looks like it really tails away from the right-hander when he gets it out there toward the outside corner. On the inside, it looks pretty straight.
3-2 pitch. Jammed in. Pop fly right center. Coming hard is Guillen. Jose's got it for the first down. Pirates have 3 outs left to work with at home plate.
First baseman Kevin Seitzer.
First man up is Dale Swain, who just came in on the double switch. And they got Tony Womack, who can cause you some problems. Jermaine Allensworth. Those are the men Jose Mesa will be concerned with. So you've got the experienced veteran leading off and 2 speed guys to follow.
Well, he's throwing strikes now. I think a lot of times pitchers forget the best pitch in baseball is strike 1. Not a curveball, not a fastball, but strike 1. It doesn't matter what you throw it with.
That's a fair ball off the bat of Seitzer. Down into the corner. Guillen got to it very quickly.
Of all the things I've seen today, Guillen is the most impressive from a defensive standpoint. I mean, every ball that's hit in the outfield, he gets a great jump on. I mean, he just looks like he's got just great instincts out there in the field. And this ball is down the line, and see how far he has to go, but watch how quickly he gets over there, even in slow motion. Now he gets himself under control so that he's able to fire if he has to. And the balls have been hitting the right center field. He's run them down. I mean, he looks like an exceptional outfielder.
Scouting report on him, strong but erratic arm. But as he gets better, those strong throws will be on target.
I guarantee they said that about Clemente, too, when he was young.
He turned out okay.
Yeah, he turned out okay.
I mean, there's a statue out here, isn't there?
Yeah.
I say that's okay.
And you mentioned it, you know, Guillen, 20 years old. I mean, he's...
Just 21 in May.
Yeah, 21. He's going to, I mean, he's got a chance.
And the guy who wore 21 here, very proudly, Roberto Clemente. You talk about an exciting player to watch.
Yeah.
In the same generation with Willie Mays. I'm not sure there were ever 2 more exciting outfielders in baseball at the same time. Manny Ramirez, a 1-1 pitch, takes it outside.
I've asked Willie Mays on several occasions, who's the best player, you know, that he ever saw. And he always tells me the same thing, Roberto Clemente. I always wonder if he's going to forget and maybe say Hank Aaron or something. But no, it's always Roberto Clemente.
Not many guys excite you when you watch them play defense. Clemente did. So did Willie. 2-1 pitch. Out of play down the right field side. I think that's what attracts a lot of young fans, Joe, these days to Ken Griffey Jr.
Yeah.
No matter what part of the game he's playing, he's exciting to watch. Two balls, 2 strikes, 1 on, 1 out. Top of the 9th. Indians 7, Pirates 5. Got it in on his hands, but Alomar gets the base hit. Excuse me, Ramirez breaking ball came right in on him, and he turned on it. The AstroTurf took care of the rest. And now it's Williams, Justice, and Alomar due up for the Indians. Anytime two guys get on ahead of these fellas, it could be a big inning.
Well, you see, set up inside. It is a breaking ball, but it's down, and I think that's why Ramirez was able to handle it. See that pitch there is down and in toward the inner half of the plate, and he shoots it to left field for a base hit.
Matt Williams could put this game out of reach very quickly. The Pirates have a couple of right-handers, but nobody is warming up. They've got Mark Wilkins and their closer, Rich Loisel. Matt Williams had some extension on that swing.
Well, you can tell by the way where he's contacting the ball that he's not trying to pull everything anymore. That pitch there was out over the plate, and he was trying to shoot it right back through the middle.
Drops one in nicely. Strike two.
Matt not happy with that call.
Tom Hallion behind the plate today. National League crew, of course, in the National League Park. Williams with a fly ball to center. Allensworth in for the second out. First half of our doubleheader in Pittsburgh, second half in Florida. Baltimore Orioles for the first time ever at Pro Player Stadium. Up throw. Scott Erickson, 15-5. Tony Saunders on the mound for the Marlins. Wayne Stats and Kevin Kennedy standing by for that one.
Well, Vukovic's going to go out and tell him exactly how they want him to pitch to Justice. And that's what I was talking about about leadership. You know, he goes out and tells them exactly what he wants them to do. Now there's not any doubt in anybody's mind. You have a game plan. Now go perform it.
Well, if there was an award for pitching coach of the year, that man would probably get it. Dave Justice. 1 for 3 with a walk, a single, and 2 runs scored. They work the outside corner very nicely.
Well, I'm sure what he's going to try to do is throw breaking balls away, and the fastball that he throws, he's going to try to come back inside. Another good breaking ball, because I don't think you can pitch Justice just one way. Justice kind of helps him out here. He chases this breaking ball. It's not really a strike, but it starts in the strike zone. Well, it could have been. It stayed up pretty high.
No balls, 2 strikes, 2 on, 2 out. Justice out of play to the left side.
And that's a good smart pitch. So he came back inside with a fastball, and that keeps Justice honest, keeps him from going out there to get the breaking ball. We threw him 2 breaking balls away, and Justice finally was thinking out there, I'm sure, so he comes back inside with a good fastball. So far, he's executing Vukovic's game plan perfectly.
Jams him and just misses off the plate. There's that inside fastball.
Yeah. But now I think he's accomplished what he wants. As you see, fastball off the plate inside, he's opened up the outside part of the plate again. No, he's staying in.
1 hopper to short. Swaim the play. Indians gone in the 9th. They strand 2. They've left 7 today. This one's still up for grabs at Three Rivers. It'll be the bottom of the order. Swaim, Womack, and Allensworth Pirates need a couple against Mesa.
Our Labor Day doubleheader coming your way shortly. Cal Ripken getting set to lead the O's against the Marlins. Well, from baseball's Iron Man to an Iron Man of football, Jerry Rice had never missed a game due to injury in his 13-year NFL career, but it now appears that he is lost for the season. The 49ers just had a press conference and said Rice would be out 4 to 6 months rehabbing his injured knee. He tore an ACL and MCL. He's undergoing surgery, could even need more surgery. Let's go back to Pittsburgh for the bottom of the ninth.
Thank you, Reese Davis, Bob Carpenter, Joe Morgan back here at Three Rivers. Jose Mesa, as the plot thickens here in the ninth inning. A very interesting season for Jose. He's looking for his 10th save. He would have been way over 100 for his career by now. He's at 96.
Well, I mean, he won his job back. He started off slowly because of some off-the-field problems he had before the season started. And it took him a long time to round into shape. But now, in talking to Mike Hargrove, he said he's ready. He's back. He's my man. But I tell you what, I was impressed by the way the Pirates worked their fans into a frenzy before the ninth inning. They had a little John Belushi on screen. They had a little of everything going on up there. And you see they're all excited.
The skull and crossbones, one of the logos of the Pirates, flying here in the bottom of the ninth. Not to be ignored are the Cleveland fans who come in force from eastern Ohio, invading western Pennsylvania. They haven't seen a baseball invasion like this in this town before. Dale Swain leads off bottom nine. Womack and Allensworth to follow in a 2-run ball game. Jose Mesa, 39 saves last year, 46 the year before. Low and inside, ball one. Dale Swain at the plate. 6 pinch hits on the year. This is really not a pinch hitting situation because he came in on the double switch. But when he comes off the bench to bat, he's driven in 5 runs this year. 1 ball, 1 strike. Swain only 4 for his last 37, though. Fly ball, short left center. Justice over. He was so concerned about Marquise Grissom, he almost forgot to get to the ball. He was holding Marquise off. Then he took a little backhand play.
Well, the funny thing that happened, he was holding him off, as you mentioned, then he looked back and he looked into the sun, and he just was able to reach down and grab it the last second. As most of you know, Justice is a right fielder most of his career in the National League. The ball comes at you differently in right field than it does left.
I guess he was looking for visual confirmation, Joe.
Yeah. Hey, he says, I'm hitting 340. I can't afford to run into anybody out here.
I'm going too good. Tony Womack, 1 for 3 with an RBI single, a walk, a steal, and a run scored. Over but low, 2-0. If the Pirates lose, they'll fall 3 back of Houston. Indians would be 4 up on Milwaukee, pending the Brewers at Astros outcome later. They're 1-1 in the 5th inning now. Yes, 1-2.
Talk about a pitch that got away from him. That pitch really got away from him. Looked like he wanted to throw a fastball inside, and it just almost gets Womack. He was able to get out of the way. You ever notice how those agile second basemen are able to avoid those kind of hits, whereas a lot of the other
As opposed to
catchers and some of the other players.
Yeah. 3-1 pitch. It's in there.
Nimble-footed second baseman. They're able to dance out of the way.
Yes, they are. They can avoid trouble anytime.
Yes.
Payoff pitch. Allensworth on deck. And he walked in just off the plate with a fastball. Pirates have the tying run into the batter's box in Jermaine Allensworth. Right now, the Astros and the Brewers are tied 1-1, and Milwaukee has just scored 2 runs in the top of the 5th inning. Brewers chasing the Indians. Pirates chasing the Astros. So this 9th inning and that 5th inning in Houston really relating to each other right now. 3-1 Milwaukee. Allensworth, 1 for 4 today. The double play ends it. Pirates would like to see one of their power hitters, Al Martin, at the plate in this frame. Some heat on that fastball. 98, says the fast gun. We're going to send you to Florida the moment we're done here in Pittsburgh. Orioles, Marlins. Great matchup for Labor Day. Line drive, base hit. Womack stops at second, and the Pirates refuse to go down without a fight. But this has been their nature from opening day.
Well, they got what they wanted. They're getting Al Martin, who is their best player, to the plate now with the tying runs on base. The fastball is down, and that's, pretty good hitting. That ball was down, and Allensworth just went down and got it and lined it into center field for a base hit.
Winning run into the batter's box.
Martin, a very good fastball hitter.
Jose Mesa, at one point this year, 2.5 months between saves. Al Martin stands in his way here. He gave him the breaking ball. This is old hat for the Pirates if they do it again. Trying to get back to the 500 mark. If they're scoreboard watching like we are, they know Houston's trailing. Al Martin today, 1 for 4 with an RBI double. Brewers put a 2 spot on the board in the 5th inning. A bouncer backing up Seitzer to the pitcher. 2 down. And now the tying runs at second base. It'll be Mesa against the Pirates' cleanup hitter, Eddie Williams.
Well, this is a good time to find out if Mesa is all the way back. See what he does here. See how he goes about his work of retiring Williams.
Channing Eddie here at Three Rivers. Eddie Williams, a walk and an RBI single. He's 1 for 3. For the Pirates, all it takes is a base hit. They're playing so deep, there's no way they can throw out Allensworth. Ball 2. Should end it. Ramirez calls off Grissom. Cleveland holds on to win it 7-5. A big offensive day as the Indians get 12 base hits Alomar homers early, and the final score, Indians 7, Pirates 5. You're going to Florida next. Cal Ripken and Bobby Bonilla. Orioles and Marlins. For Joe Morgan and our entire ESPN crew, Bob Carpenter. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.